Hey, I'm Sydney, and you're watching Sydney's Shelves. I'm here today to do monthly recommendations. Monthly Recommendations is a group that was started by Trina from Between Chapters and Kayla from Kayla Rain. In addition to these two lovely ladies, it is moderated by Sarah from April Sarah and Madeline from Novel Inc. I'll leave the Goodreads group link down below. This month's topic is underrated books. Let's dive in. My first recommendation is The Princess and the Opal Mouse Duology by Jenny Lundquist. This is about two girls. One is a poor orphan and one is a rich princess. They are forced together when an opportunity arises for them to switch places and forge new identities. But darkness is afoot and strange revelations are happening. I read this before I was ever introduced to the book community, yet I don't think I've ever met another person who's read it. I know that this series is full of a lot of tropes, but I thought it was a really fun fantasy adventure and had a lot of really cool political intrigue, so I highly recommend it. My next recommendation is Legacy of Kings by Eleanor Herman. This is an alternative history of Alexander the Great, but with magic. Once again, I've only heard one booktuber talk about this book, and I kind of found it fabulous. I read the first one when it first came out. I own the rest of the series, but I need to continue on with reading them. But I still think it was a lot of fun, and I don't know why no one is talking about this. I mean, magic and history? Yes, please. Next up is Sarah Rees Brennan's Lynburn Legacy Trilogy. This is still one of my favorite YA series. It's about a girl who thinks she has an imaginary friend who she talks to in her head. Then she finds out that he's actually a real person who she has a witchy link to. It's totally YA paranormal trash, but I just love it. If I could pick it up right now, I would start all over from the beginning. It makes me laugh so much, and I just love these characters. They're a lot of fun and really interesting, so I highly recommend this one as well. Next up is Life Unaware by Cole Gibson. This is about a girl who is dealing with anxiety. Then one day, her every text, note, and email is taped to the school lockers, and this exposes her as her school's queen bitch. It sounds a little trite and really overdramatic, but I found it to be meaningful and very heartfelt. I still love this book, and it's definitely still one of my favorite mental illness recs to date. Next, I want to recommend pretty much everything that Laura Weiss has written. She writes hard-hitting contemporaries about subjects that most people avoid, like sexual abuse and suicide. Her books are so powerful, but they will punch you in the gut. Once again, I've never met anyone that even knows who she is, but dang, do I buy her books as soon as they come out. I can recommend all of them. Next, I want to recommend Insanity by Susan Vaught. This is 4 different ghost stories told in 4 different perspectives, but all set in the same small town and having to do with this town's old insane asylum. It will totally give you the creeps, and look at that cover. It is beautiful. Next up is The Ruin Trilogy by Amy Tintera. This is one of my favorite YA trilogies as well. It's about a girl who comes from a persecuted people group who have powers. She infiltrates her enemy so that she can find her captured sister. To do so, she must pretend to be the prince's betrothed. So obviously she finds herself falling in love with him, which is like a big time no-no. I found this book to be just magical enough and so much fun. It's full of political craziness, and I don't know why more people aren't raving about this book. Next up is Reign of the Fallen by Sarah Glenn Marsh. This is about a people who don't believe in change, and thus those with money have themselves continuously raised from the dead. Our MC is the one who gets to go to the Deadlands and bring people back from the dead. This is an earlier release from this year, so I think it came out in May, and I just have one question. Why is the book community sleeping on this book? I mean, necromancy? It's awesome. Plus, there is some beautiful bisexual rep, and the audio was so smooth. Why is no one raving about this book? Why are we not all up in arms demanding she release the sequel right now? I don't understand. Next up is The Malediction Trilogy by Danielle Jensen. This is a YA paranormal series about trolls. Yes, I said that right, trolls. We get paranormal series about vampires and werewolves and fairies all the time. The market is flooded with them. But trolls, this series is so all-out entertaining, and I can't recommend it enough. Finally, I want to mention Another Little Piece by Kate Karis Quinn. Really, I could mention all of her books, but Another Little Piece is my favorite. Usually, I also don't like modern realism, but I find that Quinn does a really good job of mixing the modern, the fantastical with just a little bit of horror. It makes me really tense and totally has me spellbound. Well, those are my favorite underrated books. I hope after hearing this list that you'll go and check one of these babies out, because seriously, they need love too. Let me know in the comments down below what your favorite underrated book is. I hope you guys are having a lovely day. I'll see you in the stacks.